Okay, cool. And we are so pleased to have Fash as our first speaker in 2024. And Fash as a Vice President for Certification and Professional Development as IIBA. And Fash brings over 20 years of rich experience in business analysis, product management, and solution delivery, familiar known as Fash. And he's not merely passionate about BA world for the past decades, and he's been a dedicated mentor and trainer, fueled by a hands-on training approach that has catalyzed countless certification and career transactions. Fash is your guide to developing new skills, leverage existing ones, and navigating a successful career path. And get ready for insights that transcends expertise. And welcome to the session of Empower with Fashola Olayinka Nurudeen. Okay, and let's welcome Fash, and I will hand over the talk to Fash. Thank you, and you can share your screen now. Thank you.
Okay, I still can share. Can you allow me to share? Okay, yeah, I think I can now. Let me see. Are you guys able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to be sure you're saying the right one. All right, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate your time. I know it's already getting close to evening, or it's already evening time, and I'm sure some of you might be like, oh, this is the time I always take my dinner. Why are you guys disturbing me around this time? But again, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the next 1 hour we are going to be having together. And basically what we want to look at today is elevating your business analysis career, the power of IIBA certification. So how do you get to the next level in terms of business analysis career? I could see from the chart when we were told to, put in some of those information. Some people are saying, oh, I'm a senior business analyst. Some are saying, oh, I just started. Some are saying, I'm trying to transition into business analysis. So again, it really shows the fact that we are at different levels. And this is very, very important for us going into 2024. How do we ensure that we move from where we are to the next level? Or for those of us who are just still trying to get into business analysis, we don't know how to do it, there's going to be an opportunity for you to learn about that in this session. So for us to start, I would like to ask some very basic questions. There are about 5 questions. I just want you to type in the chat what your responses are. So again, I would like to know from the audience, how many of us work with business analyst as our job title? You can just put thumbs up. That your job title is senior business analyst or business analyst or technical business analyst or principal business analyst or lead business analyst. How many of us? Let me see if I can get access to the chat. Yeah, okay. So I can see a couple of hands. Yeah, there's about 3, 4, 5, 6, which is good. And you get to understand the reason why I'm asking this question as we go along. Then the next question I want to ask is, how many of us studied business analysis as a course in the university? Is there anybody that had a BA in business analysis? From which university is that? If you want to share with us. I'm guessing none, because the reality is that there is no course as business analysis in the university, at least to my understanding, in 2024 as an undergraduate. Maybe at master's, you might have some few universities studying it. Then the question now would be, how do I now get into business analysis if I don't go to the university to study business analysis? If I want to be an accountant, obviously I just need to go to the university and study accountancy. If I want to be a computer guru, I go study computer science. If I want to be an engineer, I go to the university and study any of the engineering courses. But why is it different that in business analysis, there is no undergraduate course? I can see somebody saying yes at Victoria University, but I want to believe at Victoria University, what you do have is master's in, or maybe a postgraduate, but not an undergraduate degree. That's the point I want to make. So the question now is that how do you get into this field that you cannot actually study in the university? And we're going to be getting into that. So the third question is, how many of us have received formal training in business analysis? Do we have people in the house who have received a formal training in business analysis? Maybe your company have sent you, or you've decided to take a course on business analysis. Is there anybody? Yeah, from the greatest teacher, Ola. Oh, Rico. Yeah, okay. Diploma in BA, yep. So we have very few people. And again, there are a whole lot of institutions out there that train people in business analysis. But if you ask most of the seasoned business analysts, they'll tell you, oh, I learned all of these things on the job. I was never trained, maybe just some few courses or some few trainings or seminars there. So there is very few limited courses that are dedicated for business analysts out there. So how do we tap into IIBA to be able to leverage on that and be sure that we are formally trained? We're going to get into all of that. As we tag along, let me go to the fourth question, which is, how many of us would like to remain in business analysis field in the next 3 years? Who still wants to be a business analyst in the next 3 years, 2025, 26, 27? Oh, I can see a whole lot of hands up, which is great. Good. All right, so the final question is, how many of us perceive business analysts or business analysis as a stepping stone to other roles? Do you think, yeah, with your business analysis, you can actually move to some other adjacent role? Or you think, no, once you're a business analyst, you are locked in, you aren't going anywhere. Okay, I can see a lot of answers showing that. And again, the answers to all of these questions are things we are going to uncover in the next 25 minutes. I've actually spent 5 minutes of my time just on one slide, but not to worry, we are going to get very good at time in terms of effectiveness. So the approach to which I want us to view the delivery of this lecture or this training or this seminar, it's more about looking at it from the themes that we're going to cover and also looking at it from our goals and what our objectives are. I want to believe that everybody here understands what a goal is, understands what an objective is, understands what a theme is. And when you're talking of a theme, you are talking of a unifying concept, right? You are talking of something that is overarching, a big ticket or a big item, a big concept. And in this conversation, I'm going to be bringing up 3 different concepts that we're going to go through for you to be able to understand how you elevate your business analysis career. And the next thing is going to be goals. So you need to set out your goals. I also want to believe we all understand goals. But again, goals are broad-based. They are qualitative statements that expresses how you intend to achieve a desired outcome. And again, every one of us must have a goal. And in elevating your business analysis career, you must have goals. Then the next level is going to be what? Objectives. So objectives is more about the specific. So this is where being smart comes in. It must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be time-bound, and blah, 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 all the other things that I believe you know. So in summary, when we talk of themes, themes provide the context, right? Why goals provides you the direction. This is how I have to go. Why the objective is that what are the specific things I have to do? And at the end of this session, you should be able to understand 3 goals because we're going to be looking at 3 things. And you should be able to understand as many objectives as it relates to those goals. And I would also be charging you that at the end of this session, you should be able to define your goals and your objective if you really want to aspire and if you really want to elevate your business analysis career. So it is not all about, oh, yes, I want to be a business analyst or I want to move to the next level. You have to be deliberate about it. And if you have to be deliberate about it, you must set out goals, you must set out objectives. And trying to drive this home, particularly for those of us who are business analysts in the house, I want you to look at things from the perspective of an epic. For those of us who understand Agile, and I know that for those senior business analysts in the house, you understand this that I'm talking about. So you want to look at things like your what? Like your epic. And you know, epic is that big ticket item, a feature of a product you want to work on. It just tells you broad, I want to design or I want a website or a landing page that has a whole lot of stuff, right? That will ensure that the user can do a whole lot of stuff. So that could be a feature of a particular what solution you are building. So look at themes from that perspective. Then the goals are much more what specific, right? Which is broad, but again, you have an idea of what you want to achieve. So you can turn goals, look at it in the agile world as your what? Your user stories. And you know your user stories are what? As a user, I would like to, so that I can blah, blah, blah. So it's much more specific. Then look at objectives from the viewpoint of your task, which is what are the specific things that I have to do to ensure that these goals or to ensure that this user stories comes to what? Reality. And if you look at themes, goals, and objective, the themes comes first, followed by your goals, followed by your what? Objective. So for us to aspire and to elevate our business analysis career, we must be deliberate about it. And being deliberate about it means that we must understand our themes, which is the context. We must have what? Goals. And we must have what? Objectives. If you don't have all of these three things, getting to the next level of your business analysis career, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't want it to be difficult for you. I want it to be as easy as it could be. And that is why we have to look at it from these paradigms. So let's move on to the next slide. There'll be room for questions. If you do have questions, just jot them down. So the first theme we want to look at is inspiring career clarity. Do we have clarity about our career? That's the first theme and the very first thing you need to really understand. That do I really want to be a BA? And that's why I was asking, who amongst us would want to be a BA in the next 3 years? Do I really want to continuously be a business analyst? And for those of us who are aspiring to come into business analysis, we should be asking ourselves, what is it in business analysis that inspires you? Because career is all about what? Inspiration. And you must have clarity about it. And if you don't have clarity about your career path, then everywhere you go is a home, just like a man who does not, or an individual who does not have a direction, or who does not have an address of where he's going. Every place he gets to is a destination. But when you talk of career planning and elevating your business analysis career, everywhere is not a destination. You must be clear as to what your destination is. So that's what we'll be discussing on the inspiring career clarity. And in doing that, you also need to be able to identify the goals. So again, I'll be looking at goals and objectives around inspiring career clarity, just so that you understand it. And these are going to be broad-based goals that you can have, and you can think through it and customize it to you as an individual. So I'll give you the broad one. Then the exercise you'll be doing, after this session is to now customize it to your own individual aspiration. Then I'm also going to give an example that will also make it a lot easier for you to be able to go back home, take a breather, and be able to come up with your goals and objectives in terms of ensuring that you have clarity to your career. If you do not have that clarity, every other thing you do is just like a man who does not understand or who does not know where he's going. Everywhere is going to be home. And I don't want a situation whereby everywhere should be home for you. Home should be home, and your home should have an address. It must have a location. Everywhere is not a home for somebody who understands where he or she is going. So a typical example, an overarching goal that you must have in this space is that you must be able to foster a renewed sense of clarity and direction in your journey within the field of business analysis. So that's the goal you must have. And again, like I said earlier on, goal is what just giving you direction, overarching. Then the clear objectives you can have within this space is within the next X months, maybe 2 months, 3 months. I want to, or you want to develop a personalized roadmap outlining specific milestones and define your career path in the business analysis world. So for those of us who are coming in newly, that we want to get into, want to pivot into business analysis, you must be able to have those milestones. You must be able to develop those personalized roadmap in X months, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time. This is where I want to be. You must write it down. You must document it. Don't just have it in your brain or in your head. Document it. And if you document it and you review it every time, you'll be asking yourself questions. Why have I not achieved this? What else do I need to do to achieve this? So you have to do this. Then the next thing we'll be looking at is to understand what are even the career paths for business analysts. So typically, this is the career path for business analysts. Most people might start as a junior business analyst, particularly for those of you guys who are just trying to transit into business analysis. You might start from a junior business analyst. And I know a couple of people that didn't go through junior business analyst. They just went straight into what? Business analyst. Then from there, you can move to a senior business analyst. And from senior business analyst, you can also, particularly for those who are coming from technical standpoint, they are developers or they are more into technical stuff, they can become what? Technical business analyst. So in most situations, the senior business analyst and the technical business analyst are always at par. And the technical business analyst is more for those who want to do more of those technical stuff. And you can see from the arrow, as a technical business analyst, you can easily move to become an enterprise business analyst. Then if you are going through the normal flow or the other flow, you can move into a lead business analyst. And a lead business analyst is somebody who understands business analysis very well, but does not have who understand business analysis and also lead business analysts. So they are people's managers, it were. Then you have the principal business analysts. So the principal business analysts are individual contributors. They are specialists in business analysis. They don't, in most cases, have people's responsibility, people's management responsibility. Why the lead business analyst would have people's management responsibility? You can have some BAs or some junior BAs reporting to them, but principal business analysts are individual contributors, just like enterprise business analysts, because they are looking at business analysis at the enterprise level. Then the next layer that comes is you're becoming a business analyst manager. And as a business analyst manager, what basically you'll be doing, you're a specialist in that field, and you're also managing teams of business analysts. A principal business analyst can be reporting to you, a lead business analyst can be reporting to you, and a couple of senior business analysts as well. Then you have the peak, the icing on the cake for the career path as a business analyst, which is what? The head of business analysis. Very few companies do have title of the head of business analyst. I've seen some couple of companies, but not that too many. But all these other ones coming down, this is the path. So you must have a clarity to this part that, okay, if I am a senior business analyst in the year 2024, how do I get to becoming a lead business analyst or an enterprise business analyst or principal business analyst in the next couple of months or in the next couple of years? So if you understand the trajectory, the direction, then it will be a lot easier for you to navigate your way through. Good. So the next thing I want us to look at now is now narrowing it down. The other time I gave you an overarching goals and objective within the Inspire Career Clarity theme, but now I want to zero in on it, that if you are a senior business analyst, what could be a typical example of what your goal could be? And it could be different for everybody, right? But I want to give an example just so that if you now want to work on your own, you have something that can guide you. So a typical example of a goal for a senior business analyst is to consolidate expertise and leadership skills as a senior business analyst, becoming a key contributor to strategic initiative. That should be your goal as a senior business analyst, because you also want to move to the next level. And you must be thinking of how do you contribute to strategic initiative? And that's what will give you that next level that we saw here, which is more about becoming a lead or a principal business analyst. And some typical examples of objectives you should have under this theme could be within the next X year, I want to achieve recognition as a subject matter expert in specific domain in the industry. Maybe you're in the payments industry, maybe you're in the banking industry, maybe you're in the financial industry, maybe you're in the telecoms industry. You want to have expertise in that domain. And with that, it's a lot easier for you to move forward. Another typical objective could be you want to be able to lead a cross-functional team in successfully developing a complex project or delivering a complex project. So that could also be another objective. So look at what are the various complex projects you have within your organization that you can tie into or that you can work in and actually be part of that delivery. Then another objective you could have as a senior business analyst is to mentor and guide junior business analysts or intermediate business analysts contributing to their professional development. And the platform that these sessions we're having as provided is a good way for you as business analysts to come to the fore and actually contribute, be part of this community, and you'll be able to see people whom you can inspire, people whom you can mentor, people whom you can guide in terms of developing that career clarity, taking them to the next level. So that takes us to the end of inspiring career clarity. For us as business analysts, we must be clear where we want to go. And once it is clear in terms of the path, how do we now achieve it? So this is where commit to certification or commit to certification excellence comes in, which is the next thing we want to look at. So you need to commit to what? Certification excellence. Like I said earlier on, you don't have anybody here, and I've not seen anybody who is a business analyst or a senior business analyst who went to the university, studied for 4 years, and came up with a certificate as a business analyst. The best you could have is what? A diploma. The best you could have is a master's, right? So how do you actually achieve that fit within the business analysis world that you know it? Just like the accountants, if you go to the university and study accountancy, you can easily become an accountant. So how do you easily become a business analyst when you have not studied business analysis in the university? And this is where certification comes in. So you must commit to that. So the overarching goal I want you to have in this space is commit to pursuing IIBA certification for strategic career development. And the only certification body in the world that certifies people as business analysts is IIBA. Or don't let me say the only, but the most recognized. You have maybe some other ones, but they are not other recognized. But if you are looking for recognition as a business analyst, IIBA is what it is for you. And this organization started like almost 20 years ago, or 21 years, because last year, which is 2023, we celebrated the 20 years of IIBA. So that's the goal you should have. And a typical objective you could have with respect to certification could be within the next X months, you want to establish a detailed schedule for IIBA certification preparation and broaden your career development, which could also include dedicated study session or groups that you could have. So this is the overarching goal and objective of those things that can guide you in forming your goals and objectives within committing to certification excellence. So before the end of this section, I'll also share with you specifics in terms of goals and objectives that you can have. So what are the benefits of IIBA? Because that's the next question people will be asking. Yeah, you want us to do IIBA certification. What are the benefits? There are about 8 benefits that I've identified. I'll just run through them because of time. One is enhanced professional credibility. It gives you that credibility. It's just like somebody who says he's an accountant and he never studied accountancy in school. There is no way, or somebody who is a medical doctor, can you go to your doctor and the doctor studied maybe computer science in school and he claims to be a medical doctor? Would you allow that person to administer any drugs on you? No. Because what gives you credibility to become a doctor is that you actually went to the medical school. So what IIBA certification gives you is that it enhances your professional credibility. It also gives you what? Global recognition. You are recognized anywhere, everywhere you go. When I attained my CBAP, which is my IIBA certification, I did it in 2015. I did it way back in 2015 in Nigeria. And when I moved to New Zealand, I had CBAP. I can communicate with the community of what? Business analysts. So it gives you a global recognition everywhere and anywhere you go. It also gives you access to a professional community. So if you are an IIBA certified person, you have access to a whole lot of professionals. And in my work as VP of IIBA, I've met people that ordinarily I wouldn't have met in my life from Afghanistan, from Brazil, from Spain, and a host of others. So it gives you access to that wide community. And it also increases your job opportunities. So if you are a CBAP or you have CCBA or any of those certifications on your resume and you apply for a business analysis job, you'll be given prior consideration. Then it also demonstrates your mastery of competence because the IIBA certification is not just about ticking the box to pass the exam. You must know it. Those questions are, don't let me say difficult, but they are technical. You must know it. If you don't know it, you can't guess the answer. Because if you try to guess, you will see two answers in a question. Every question you read, there are two answers that are very similar. So your mastery or your understanding of those concepts will help you to distinguish between the right and the wrong. Then it also enables you to ensure that you have a continuous professional growth. And I've had the opportunity of having several certifications. And with IIBA, it just makes sure that I'm always studying because every 3 years, I must renew my certification. Most other certification I had or I've had is just that once you have it, that's it, you have it for life. But for IIBA, you keep renewing it. And if you have to renew it, there are procedures. You must have done this training, you must have done this exercise, you must have done this, you must have done that. So it makes sure that you are always in a position to all keep learning. Otherwise, once it's 3 years down the line, you don't have enough to be able to renew your certification and you'll be off the list. Then it also ensures that you align with industry best practices. You know how people get to do it in New Zealand, in Nigeria, in Egypt, in Ethiopia, in America, in Canada, everywhere, because we have a global standard. And it also makes you to be very competitive in the market. So these are the benefits of you attaining this certification. And basically for business analysts, there are 3 key certifications. So you are going to get the slide, so I don't need to go through all of these because of time. But you have the level entry, which is the ECBA. So particularly for those of you who are just starters, who want to get into business analysis and you don't know how to do it, doing the ECBA would be a very good starting point. And the conditions are very, very minimal. They've reduced most of the conditions. Then the mid-range level is the CBA, which is the certified competence in business analysis. And the peak of it is a CBAP, which is the certified business analyst professional. So the question is, yes, you can move straight towards CBAP. If you have been a business analyst for the last 3 to 5 years, you can go straight to do CBAP because you have some other adjacent roles that you must have played in the past that will give you all the qualifications that is required to become a CBAP. But again, once we get into the question time, I can go into more details as to how you get into this. But these are the 3 core business analysis certification that business analysts can have or that are offered by IIBA certification. And this part talks about the cost in terms of the fee. If you're a member, if you're a non-member, I'm also going to share the slide so you can see the details of what it's going to cost you to actually get that done. Then the next thing you also need to know is that for IIBA certification, you must prepare for it. And when we mean prepare for it, the first thing you have to do is to understand the certification requirement. Which of the 3 certifications are you going for? And what are the requirements? You must get it. And you must familiarize yourself with BABOK. So BABOK is Business Analysis Book of Knowledge. So every certification or any certification you want to do with IIBA, BABOK is your what? Your go-to. You don't need any other study material except from what? BABOK. Then you also need to enroll in IIBA endorsed training. So again, for IIBA certification, it's not something you just sit in the comfort of your home and just read BABOK and just go write the exam. No, you must be trained by a certified trainer or by a certified institute. So I can give you details into that. Then after that, as part of your preparation, you must develop a plan to join a study group, because again, you can do it all alone, but it's better if you do it within a group and makes a whole lot of sense so you can share and learn. Then prepare for your exam logistics, whether you want to do it online or you want to do it physical. But again, I think in New Zealand, you can only do it online. And if you are doing it online, there are some specifications that you have to meet. You also need to get that. And also take mock exam. I know I have 1 minute more, but I'll allow the facilitator or the organizers to give me just additional 2 or 3 minutes to be able to round up the next couple of slides. So this is a typical example you should have in terms of committing to certification excellence. So your goal could be you want to foster a culture of continuous improvement through IIBA certification. So here your goal is not just getting the IIBA certification. Your goal is that, yes, I'm going to get it, but it's going to be renewed in 3 years' time. So what are the things that I have to do to be sure that once it is 3 years' time to renew, I have all my paperwork? Because you have to submit evidence that you have done this, and you are continuously learning. And that's one of the beauty of IIBA certification. It keeps you on your toes and you have to keep learning new things. So example of your typical objectives here could be attain IIBA certification in the next 6 months, developing expertise through training, focus study, and exam scheduling. Another typical objective could be lead complex projects successfully by taking leadership role, proposing improvements, and applying your certification skills. So all of those things you've learned during your training for certification, all of those things you've read in BABOK, you should try to put them into practice. So again, you are going to get this and you can craft your own objective and your goals in this slide. But again, like I said, this is just a guidance and you can tweak and twist to make sure that it fits in for you. And the last thing we want to look at, which relates to one of the other questions we asked at the beginning, is what other opportunities do we have beyond business analysis? So again, this diagram just shows us the different parts. So you can have somebody who starts as a business analyst, they can move into the product management role, as in going to product owner, becoming a product manager, so the end, probably becoming a VP. And as a senior business analyst or a business analyst, you can do adjacent role and say, oh, I'm done with business analysis. I want to do more project management. Then you can become a project manager, become a senior project manager, and you move on in that trajectory. Or it can be that, no, I don't want to do product management. I don't want to do project management. I want to be more of a leader within the team. So you can become an engineering lead, managing developers, QAs, and also team of business analysts, becoming an engineering manager or becoming an engineering director, and you move on that way. So this tells us that as a business analyst, we have multiple options. I don't want you to be tired of business analysis, because if you get into it, you enjoy it, you love it, you always want to do it. But if for whatever reason you need to change your trajectory, these are the guidance or guidelines or different other career paths you can follow. So typical objective you could have, if you actually want to now move away from business analysis, probably you've been doing it for 10 years and you feel like, oh, you want to do some other thing else. So you can have a goal around exploring diverse career horizons beyond business analysis. That could be your goal. Then a typical objective out of that could be that within the next X month, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, commit to 2 actions, maybe courses or mentorship program, to unlock your opportunities in either project management or organizational development or project management. So if you have that goal, which one do you want to go for? Is it product management? Is it leadership? Then there are several courses or trainings or mentorship program you can enroll so that will enable you to achieve that. So again, we're wrapping up. We've looked at all the 3 different themes, and what you have to do now is to unlock that potential you have in you, and you have to start today, such that you will be able to transform tomorrow. But if you refuse to start today, you will never get the transformation that is expected tomorrow. So with these few words of mine, I think I've been able to convince you, but not confuse you, that the business analysis career path is the right for you, and ensuring you have an IIBA certification will enable you to unlock this potential that you have within the business analysis space, and also enable you to look at all the various other options that you can actually transit to from business analysis. So I guess I've spent 4 minutes added to my time, and we go for questions and answer at this time. All right, so it's time for questions. So I don't know how I want to manage that. Do I read that straight off from the chat? Let me see.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So there's a question here. I'll just share my screen.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So let me stop sharing, then you can share. Now we'll look at the questions.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question. So can you see my screen? Yeah. So
Yeah.
if certification will be recognized by organization in NZ, will it be easy to get a job if I do this certification?
Like we said, it's a global recognition. Nobody would deny you in New Zealand that you have a CBAP certification. It's recognized globally. And you can go to the IIBA website, which is iiba.org. It's a global recognized certificate. Like I told you, I had mine in 2015 while I was still back in Nigeria, and I'm able to use it here. And when I came in here and I wanted to join the IIBA in New Zealand, all I need to present is my CBAP certification. And like, it was like, okay, yeah, we're in the same boat. We can speak the same language. So it gives that recognition globally.
Yeah. So I think this one already mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah. So what kind of training the IB related training will provide and how much is the cost? So I think Fash already
so it's in that slide. So again, that slide tells you about the cost of certification, not the cost of training. So we can go into the cost of training probably if we have one-on-one session, or if you need more on the training specific, then I'll be able to provide guidelines or direct you or provide you with the right direction as to where you can get that. But the costs you have in the slide that we shared with you are specific to the certification. If you're a member, the cost of certification, but not the cost of training. But we can take that away, maybe if we need to. There are a couple of websites I can direct you to.
And this one, if I'm struggling to guide a role as a BA, what are some potential adjacent roles to help with enroll into a role as BA?
Yeah, so that's a very valid question. And I'll use, New Zealand as a typical example. The business analysis market is very tight. And that's why contractors within that space, they are the one that dictate the price, right? Not even the business, because they are looking for people who are skilled, who are senior. But what I've also seen in the last couple of months is that most organizations, because it's difficult for them to get senior BAs, and they are not even ready to pay that amount that some of the senior BAs are asking for. So what they are now doing is getting junior BAs that can have what? Train. So what that means for you is that for those of us who are trying to transition into business analysis role, you are going to see a couple of business analysis roles that are junior, and which gives you that opportunity to step into it. And once you step into that, the company are ready to train you and actually get you up to speed. So to nail it down again, in terms of the specifics of your question, the other adjacent role, if you are not getting BA role, is to look for product management role, maybe a product owner, or to look for a project administrator, or to also look for maybe roles that have to do with quality assurance. And once you get into that development space and IT world, then you can easily navigate your way into becoming a business analyst. So look at quality assurance, look at product management, look at project management. Those are some of the adjacent roles that can get you into business analysis sooner rather than later.
And do you need to sit an exam every 3 years to renew?
Oh, okay. So you don't need to sit for any other exam. Once you attain that certification, you don't need to sit for any other exam, right? But what you have to do is that you have to show proof that you are learning every day. Maybe not necessarily every day, but you are learning continuously, that you are attending seminars like this, that you are reading Bible, for example, that you are attending study group, but or that in your job you are executing some specific projects and you are delivering value. So what IIBA wants to see is that you don't need to write any other exam, but you must be able to show that the certification you have, you are putting it into use, and you must have those evidences ready. So again, you are writing the exam once in a lifetime, but you just renew it by showing that you are putting what you have learned into practice. You are not writing any other exam again. Good.
And how often is that people will be hired into a BA role without IIBA certification?
Okay. So again, let me put it this way, because I've received this kind of questions several times. So what I tell people is, if you are fortunate that you are already a business analyst, maybe a senior business, and I have a couple of friends who are senior business analysts, 10, 15 years, and they don't have any of the IIBA certification, but their experience counts for them. So if you're already in the field, having a certification is just to have that global recognition. That yes, if for whatever reason you are leaving New Zealand, going to Canada, you have a recognition that yes, I can do business analysis work. If I go to US, I have that recognition that I can do business analysis work. But for those of us who are just starting, the only way you can prove to an employer is that you have the certification. And that's why I always recommend for those who are transiting into business analysis to show it. It's just like a doctor. If you don't have, or you have not gone through a medical school, and you're coming into New Zealand, you want to become a medical doctor, I'm sorry, nobody's going to take you. Even though you have your medical certification, you still have to go through what? Specific courses or trainings or exams that you have to write before you can now practice in New Zealand as a medical doctor. So that's the same thing for certification. So if you are new to business analysis, doing the certification is almost compulsory to get you that role, because that is what will make me as a recruiter or as an hiring manager to know that, yes, you have the basic skill. Though you might not have practiced it, but for you to have attained the certification, you have what it takes. Come on board, we'll train you, and you learn on the job. But for somebody who has already been there, it's not compulsory, except you want to get that global recognition. And if you're moving out of your current country and you want to prove in Brazil that you can do business analysis work, then they will be looking for those certifications. Good.
Yep. So I think I just missed one. So this one. So for someone who wants to transition into BA role, how is the UCBA recognized in the NZ market?
In the New Zealand market?
Yeah, New Zealand market.
It's and I'll give you a typical example. Just go to, I think the most popular job search in New Zealand is it Seek? Right? Just go to seek.co.nz and see the list of business analysis roles that are out there. So I remember a couple of years ago, I was recruiting for business analysts. It took us months before we could get a senior business analyst to work for our organization, because the market is so tight. And even for the contracting market, it's also very tight. You have very few skilled business analysts out there. So the opportunity is wide. And I believe that there's somebody from Westpac here, and I do have a friend who works in Westpac, but again, he's moved to Australia some couple of months ago. He was telling me, and again, the Westpac person here can also confirm that in Westpac, they have close to 100 business analysts. That's just Westpac as a bank. So look at that. For BNZ for ANZ, I'm sure it's going to be similar. That's just the what? The banking industry alone. And in my 5 years or thereabouts stay in New Zealand, I've realized that there is virtually no company in New Zealand that does not have a business analyst. Yes, some of them might not call it business analyst, but what they are doing is what is business analysis. And that tells us that the market is what is huge, right? So what we have to do is that prepare yourself to be able to tap into that opportunity. So go to seek.co.nz, you'll see tons of business analysis role. And go to any company, there is virtually no company that does not have a business analyst in New Zealand. And I want to be challenged on that. So that tells you the market is what is huge and the opportunity is there for you to grab.
Next one. If I am business analyst, how can I fill the gap to become a product owner?
Oh, very valid one. So naturally, if you're a very good business analyst, you are a natural fit for a product owner. Because I'll tell you this, product owner or product ownership as a role is just something that is like 20, 25, or maybe maximum 30 years old, because it's a role that was created as a result of what? Agile practice. In the 1980s, I don't know if there is anybody that worked in the 1980s here. I'm not that too old, though I'm old, but I'm not that too old. In 1980, I'm still a toddler. There was nobody that can tell you that, oh, in 1980, I was a product owner for maybe Microsoft or for maybe this company. No, because that role never existed. If anybody says the product owner, should be in the 20s, maybe from 2020, because the Agile Manifesto was towards the end of the 1990s. And that was when that role, product owner role, was created. And the first set of people that moved into that role were actually what? Business analysts. Because it's actually the business analyst that is very close to the role of what? Product owner in what? In the agile space. So naturally, as a business analyst, you can play the role of a product owner. And one of the easiest ways to move into product ownership or product owner as a business analyst is to do certification in product ownership. And there are a couple of product owner certification out there. So learn about Agile, particularly Scrum. And if you do certification in Scrum or specifically product owner certification in Scrum, as a business analyst, it's easier for you to get your what? Your product owner role. So in a nutshell, do certification in Agile that is specific to product owner, then you can easily become a product owner, transitioning from a business analyst. Yep.
Can I be just choose after that question, please?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious, like within probably, could you give us an example, like within your organization, what's the like job day-to-day job difference between product manager and business analyst? Do you think product manager requires more domain language than a business analyst? Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a very valid question, and it could also be a very confusing question in the sense that different organizations use business analysts and use product owner in different ways. I've worked as a product owner, I've worked as a business analyst, I've worked as a team lead managing, product team. And the way each of the teams are structured is completely different. Do you get it? So in a team where you have product owner and business analyst, what typically happens is that the product owner might be focusing more on the customer-facing side of things. Get the requirement, be sure what the requirement is, prioritize the backlog, get the user stories written up. Then the business analyst will now be focused more on working with the product development team, as in the developers, the QA. So now come up with the acceptance criteria of what the user story is. And then I go into the deep end of things to work with the developers to come up with what the acceptance criteria, work with the QA guys to make sure that the test cases are correct and ensure that the solution is delivered and hands over to the product owner. And in some organization, what you have is that you don't have business analysts. What you have is a product owner, and the product owner might be the one doing all of those jobs of a what? Business analyst, which includes writing the requirements, writing the acceptance criteria, doing the backlog grooming, ensuring clarity as to what the developers needs to work on, and also work with them to ensure that they deliver value. And they can also have what we call a product manager. So the product owner can now be reporting to the product manager, and the product manager will be doing most of the strategic stuff in terms of how do we evolve the product to the next level, what are customers asking for, what are competitors doing, what are the things we need to do. So a product owner that finds him or herself in that space might not be doing all of those strategic things. And I've seen other companies whereby you have senior product owner and you don't have product managers. So the senior product owner does all of those strategic stuff. Why they not have business analyst or junior product owner that gets stuff done? So again, in a nutshell, it depends on different organizations. There is no complete standard practice of how a BA product owner works in an organization. It varies from one organization to another, and it's based on their experience and their nuance to ensure that they're able to deliver value. In my current organization, probably before now, we call them product owners. But now we've decided to change that. We don't have product owners. What we now have is what's technical product manager. So their title has changed and the work they are doing is still what? It's still the same thing. But again, it's just to align in a complete, in a way that aligns to the overall organizational strategy. So again, like I said, it's a confusing question and the answer is going to be confusing to some extent because different organizations operate it different way.
And can you please share more about IIBA Certification Study Group in New Zealand?
Oh, great. So IIBA Certification Study Group in New Zealand, we just started one last week, Saturday. And again, we've closed shop on that. We'll be doing another one coming, I think, sometimes in May. So what we did at the early part of this year was to send out a note to all our to all our members, and also posted most of the information on our LinkedIn post. And we received almost like 55 applicants, people who wants to actually do the exam, but 12 were able to make it at the end of the day. So we started that last week, Saturday, and it's going to last for 8 weeks. And we're preparing them to actually write the exam. And the way it works is that we go through the BABOK, explain it to them, and we'll also go through practice exam questions to ensure that they are fully prepared for the exam. So sorry to say that you can't join this cohort because it has already started and we don't want to go back. But just watch the space and probably follow me on LinkedIn. Once we are starting a new one, I'll definitely post. And also follow IIBA New Zealand on LinkedIn. You'll definitely get the post once we're starting the next study group. But again, if you want to do it sooner rather than later, you don't want to wait till May or till June, you can flick me a message on LinkedIn, then we can talk and give you other options that could be available, given your own context or your own situation. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's already 8 p.m. So it's just like once answer this three, it's all good to go. And the one is, how do you keep up with changes to the embark, new techniques, etc., over new versions that come out after you get your certification?
Yeah, very valid question. So BABOK don't change often. I'll tell you, when I did mine in 2015, I did it on version 2. And the new version, which we are using now, came out in 2016. And for me to transition from version 2 to version 3 was just reading it all over again, because I'm in the space, because I train and I do all of those mentorship stuff. So I need to read the version 3 to be able to tell people and teach people what version 3 is all about. So I think they always change it once in 10 years. I think that's the policy. So before any new version will come out, probably it might be in the year 2026, because the current edition, which is version 3, came out in 2016 or 17, if I'm not mistaken. So you have 10 years, and that's a whole lot of years to actually understand all of that before it changes.
Okay. And how can people who don't have a tech background to grow to be a technical BA?
Oh, if you don't have a tech background to become a technical BA. So to become a technical BA does not necessarily mean you have to have a tech background, right? But if you work in that space over a period of time, you understand those technical terms, right? And for you as business analysts, what you are doing is not going into the codes and writing it, right? It's not doing the quality checks, assurance, or spinning up EC2 servers on AWS and all of that. But is you having the idea, the context of, oh, if we are designing a solution and you want 1 million people to be able to log in concurrently, then you can't deploy that solution in a server sitting somewhere in the corner of your room. It has to be in the cloud. And if it has to be in the cloud, then you need to start thinking of what security. So as a technical business analyst, you don't necessarily have to be a technical person. You can grow some of those technical skills that is required as a technical business analyst over time. But if you are coming from a development background, maybe you're a developer and you're tired of coding, which was what happened to me way back in maybe around 2009. I just felt like, oh, this coding is done and dusted for me. I don't want to code again. And that was when I moved into business analysis. And it was a lot easier for me to manage my business analysis transition, even doing some technical stuff, because I was coming from that background. But if you are not coming from that background, what you can do is learn as you go along, then you can easily move to that space.
Okay, cool. Last one. And then, if I am already doing a master program of business analyst, do I need to get this certificate?
That's a very tricky one. I would say, yeah, it's a very tricky one. But I would say, if you can, do. But if you can't, because you already have a university degree as a business analyst, that might provide some leeway for you to be able to get the right job. So I'll say complete your degree or your master's degree that you're doing in business analysis. Start searching. You might get the opportunity to get that job. And the advantage that you would have with the business analysis degree, because I was reading the reviews of the one that is being done in Victoria University, it's not just core business analysis alone they do some bits of data analysis and all of those stuff, right? So again, it's a good mix of right combination that I would say that if you have that, you don't necessarily have to do the certification. But if you really want to up your game and be sure that you have multiple options that you can fit into different roles, then having it is going to be an icing on the cake for you, which will be a great one for the recruiters looking for the next best business analyst in town.
Cool. And yeah, thank you so much for the first sharing. And I believe that we all know more about the IIBA certification. And so I will upload recording to our YouTube channel soon, and welcome to subscribe. So if you do like our event, please refer our meetup group to your friends and colleagues, and links can be found at the comment area. And our next event will 20th February, Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. And the topic will be future-proof your skills. Master Lean Thinking evaluates your business analyst impact, and by Fahimia. So welcome to join that one if you're available. And I hope to see you all in next event on our Tuesday, 20th February, 7 to 8 p.m. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for Fash for sharing, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. So
Thank
enjoy
you so
your
much.
dinner if you have not taken it. And if you have a good night rest.
Thank you, Fash.
Yes.
Thanks, Fash.
Yeah,
See
bye.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.